brothers and a shot of milk.
Spoiler alert, we are spoiling The Boys Season 3. But first, before we get into spoils, what you guys think about it?
I loved it. The Boys doesn't disappoint. It comes through with ridiculousness and but it's the best mess of a train wreck on TV. It's just a mess, but it works, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I listen. I love The Boys too. I really, really enjoy the content. I like what it is. It got a little repetitive for me after a while. How long are the characters going to keep chasing their tails, making the same mistakes over and over again, making the same choices over and over again? And then the other slight gripe I had by the end of the thing, and this is big spoiler. Can I say a spoiler? I'll give you the non-spoiler version of it. Some of the consequences just really, there are none. I mean, there are for some people, and then they're just really not for others. And I felt like, if you're going to go that far, just kind of go that far. But then to go that far and then pull out at the last minute, come on, man.
Pause. I felt like Rich would have said pause. I agree with Jack. I agree with both of you guys. First, I love this show. I think it's giving us everything we want and even stuff we never asked for, like the inside of a penis.
Real talk.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like this isn't a spoiler, but we kind of the seasons end in a similar way. And I guess I was looking for more of, like Jack said, more consequences. But what I really love about this show, they have a way of doing satire. Like, this show is extremely quotation marks woke. Like, literally, Homelander, Trump, super conservative, but they do it in a way that doesn't feel like it's just beating you over the head with a message.
Yeah, but you can almost choose to miss it if you need to.
But it's also so in your face, but it's done with such a sense of humor that it makes it enjoyable. It's very interesting how they're able to balance that tone. I don't even really know how, but I enjoy it.
I think it's because the way Homelander uses the fake news and the super conservative right wing stuff, he knows what he's doing, and he's using it as a kind of a chess piece to kind of to get his message out and to control his message, because they're so concerned about their points, right? How they're polling. So he's controlling. So I think because he's using it as a tool, it doesn't feel like what I always complain about, how they're poking you, oh look, see what we're doing here, see what we're doing here.
But they are. They just doing it in a way that doesn't feel like it. But they found a really great way on how to do that. But if you're a Republican, if you're a Trump supporter, if you're super conservative and you're watching this, I wonder if they'll feel like enough already. I wonder if they'll feel that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It feels like if you needed to not notice it, it's so in the characters you can kind of choose to not notice it. Mm-hmm. It's there, but it's not so there that it feels like it's casting judgment on that thing. It's just the thing.
Right.
Like its agenda doesn't seem to be to.
It's not the show's agenda. It's Homelander's agenda.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. That's why there's kind of a way to opt out of it if you needed to.
Right. Well, let's just jump in, man. Freaking Soldier Boy, dude. This whole season is really about finding and weaponizing Soldier Boy, and they freaking find him, and he has this power that can shoot out of him that can literally evaporate the V inside of a superhuman,
which is awesome.
But it's that thing of you showing me a gun in Act 1, I'm gonna need that sucker to really go off in the finale.
Yeah, and that was my problem with this. You've gotten right at the beginning my problem with the content in general. So Soldier Boy hits a lot of these characters with his thing. Specifically, he hits
Camiko.
Camiko. He
Yep.
hits Camiko, and he hits what's her face at the end of it?
Maeve.
And he hits Maeve. And so Camiko has no powers. She's not healing. She's gonna die, and then she's happy to not have powers. She wants her powers back, and she's able to get her exact powers back by simply taking some more Compound V. Now, Maeve loses her powers at the end, and she doesn't have any powers, so she's gotta leave. She could just go get some Compound V. So it's like,
I don't think she wants to.
Want it.
She wants that life with her girl.
Sorry, it's aside the point. Here's my point. The consequences of that thing are no consequences, because at any point she could change her mind and just go get Compound V, and she's got her powers back.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's like a non-thing thing.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, like, I was okay with that if at the end, because we're setting this, like, they set up this massive superpower he has. I'm like, he's obviously going to use it against Homelander in the big fight at the end. Has to. And I was hoping that he would have hit Homelander with it. Homelander would have lost his powers. But since he's a special bred hero, just dousing himself with Compound V doesn't work. It doesn't give him his powers back. And he has his suit, and at the end, he has a depowered Homelander with his superpowered son by his side. And
That's
the
interesting.
depowered Homelanders would be even crazier. And we can find out a way for him to get his powers back in season 4. But I'm like, you're setting up this thing that can take away powers, and he's fighting Homelander. How is that not on the table?
Yeah. And now I did like what they did at the end with Homelander, where he just obliterated the dude in the crowd. And and honestly, I wish that had been closer to the beginning or middle of the season, though. Because
But the dude in the crowd has no consequences now.
I know, but now
I know. I think the dude in the crowd, I think it sets up future, but the dude in the crowd is like, now Homelander thinks, I can do whatever I want.
But that's my biggest issue, and I don't have many. But my one issue with the series is every season it ends with Homelander
doing whatever he
something,
wants,
and the boys going, well, now we have to take him down. Like, it ends the same way. Now we got to regroup and got to take him down.
Yeah. I see that. But you know what I liked? I liked, that couple episode span where Homelander was off the rails, doing whatever he wanted, and everyone was walking on eggshells because this guy is a ticking time bomb ready to go off.
But that's every season. Every season.
But this season, I think was different because he had no one reeling him in.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think he was so concerned about points and his image.
Yep.
Starlight was able to get away with stuff she would have never got away with season 1 or season 2.
The most exciting Homelander moment for me also was the most frustrating, pissed off moment I got watching any of the seasons. It's season 2. He's given the talk to the crowd. He gets fed up with the crowd, and he just chops them all down. I jumped out of my chair with excitement. I was like, the wheels are off the bus. Where are they taking this content? This is the point of no return. Here we go. And then instantly they took it away, and it was all in his mind. I'm still waiting for them to commit to some version of Homelander where the wheels are actually off the bus and there are real world consequences. And we're 3 seasons into it, and they keep faking it, like,
and we keep
kinda
going,
but not really,
and we go back to kind of a square one by the end of it.
It's such a tease that I'm honestly on that level, I'm over it. It's great content. I enjoy the content. The stories are fun. The characters are great, but shit or get off the pot.
Well, I'm not that far against it. My only issue is by them doing that, they make Homelander so important that you don't have a series without him anymore. When in reality, the boys should be able to exist without Homelander. Eventually, they get rid of him, and there's other heroes. They got to take down. Vought is the big bad, not just Homelander.
Right.
But now Homelander's set up to be the thing, and they pull back on him. What I did enjoy, though, I love For some reason, when I watch this show, a part of me feels like he can be redeemed. Homelander.
You know who
For the first time, yeah.
Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. You
Yes.
know, she goes through an arc where you hate her, and then she's then she's taken over by those religious zealots, and she's being tortured, and you feel for her, like you want to see Cersei be Cersei and do her gangster stuff. Yeah, exactly. You want to see her be Cersei and do the gangster stuff, and that's kind of how I felt with Homelander the whole time when he's going through this like these changes. You see him like off the rails, and you're like, this guy needs to be taken down. And then what does he do? There's a battle. He has to save his son, and he's like, we gotta stop. I don't want my son to get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? This guy's just trying to be a dad. Maybe he's not a bad guy, even though he's a terrible.
The same thing with Cersei. They gave them bad parents, Homelander and Cersei Lannister. So you saw that they were corrupted as children. They didn't stand a chance. So with that being part of this story, as an audience, we kind of go, because there's a part of us that goes, it's not all your fault. And then they do little sprinkles of where they get redeemed enough for us to hold on. And first of all, I was like, why wouldn't him and Soldier Boy
team up,
bond?
Yeah.
Soldier Boy's from a different era. It's like I'm watching Succession right now. And yeah, that dad would look at Homelander like, when did you become such a pussy?
Yeah.
He would look at Homelander like, you're a freaking joke. And he did. But a part of me was hoping like, man, maybe you guys can fix each other.
Maybe you guys can be best friends.
Well, they dropped a couple great things as it pertained to understanding Homelander for the first time in any of the seasons. They gave him the save the cat moments with the kid. So we saw him operate outside of his norm because he had something he actually cared about, the kid.
Yeah.
And the other thing they did is they took our heroes who are so anti-superpowered people and they let them be superpowered. Yeah. Which is interesting because it makes them hypocritical. It makes it so it's harder for me as an audience member to identify with my hero now because my hero is crossing the line. And it gave conflict for the team, which was nice. But when they took those hero figures and they gave them the temp compound V, we saw it not only give them powers, but it altered their personalities. They were like roided up people that cared less about anything else other than the power that they were feeling at the time. And it's a drug and it's an addiction. And so instantly I understood on another level that these people who are injected with compound V are in this constant state where they're on that chemical. They're chemically imbalanced, actually, where the way they reason, logic, and deal with things are just on a different spectrum. So I have to try to understand Homelander in a different way because now I'm understanding my heroes in a different way.
And they gave us, in season 1, they gave us, remember when he was doing that interview and they pretty much was like, he's in Smallville and this is the way I grew up.
Yeah.
And then it turned out like this is all for fake. And you find out the way he really, and it's like, how can you not feel for this guy? I mean, he would be Superman maybe if the situations might have been different, but he's been emotionally abused since he was a baby. And maybe physically abused as well.
That's really the driving force behind Homelander is his internal struggle. Like he's fighting against everyone, but he's really broken inside, and he's trying to figure out what he could have been, what his life could have been if things were different, and he's really struggling with that. And I think that's a huge factor in his character development.
And I think what makes him not Cersei Lannister is you want to take over for what? He doesn't have this master plan of enslaving peoples and ruling. He just wants to take over to be liked. He just wants to take over to be loved. And he doesn't have this enslave everybody mentality, this dictator-like mentality. So when we see him with his son, it's like, you don't really have an agenda with your son, but to have your son.
Well, that's why he was so upset when Black Noir bounced on him, because he thought Black Noir was the only one that he could rely on. And when Black Noir found out, then he bounced and was having his like cartoon visions and the Chuck E.
Which
Cheese
was
type
freaking
place.
brilliant. Like, can we talk about let's talk about Black Noir? Right? Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Like he was hurt when Noir left.
Hurt. Yeah.
He's like he wouldn't leave, and then we see Noir just scared of freaking Soldier Boy, and then we see like how this dude thinks, and it's like this freaking Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah.
And so sad. And then they had this shot where he's seeing them on the stage kind of perform like what to do, but then it cuts to him and he's just there alone and there's nobody. You know, like they just made this character that seemed one-dimensional, like one of the most tragic characters in this whole series.
And they waited to the end. But they did exactly. This is such typical writing, though. They did it right before they were going to kill him off, and that's I knew it was going to happen. If you watch a lot of content, you'll eventually start noticing that an underdeveloped character who quickly becomes overdeveloped, they're going to kill him off because they want to try to make that death mean something, and so they want you to like him right before they got to kill him. That's such a classic thing.
Yeah,
and they did that. I'll tell you what's funny for me though is, honest to God, Soldier Boy had every right to come back and just decimate everyone.
Well, yeah.
And because the reason why they entombed him for 50 years, he was a jerk.
Abusive.
He was a jerk. He was abusive. But they didn't have a reason to entomb him like that for 50 years.
You would have thought he was like going against our country.
Nah, it was like, you kept me from playing Eddie Murphy's part in Beverly Hill Cop. I hate you. I'm going to entomb you. And literally, that was the reason why Black Noir did it.
But Vought was also gave the green light. Like, they were going...
Vought said, we want to have a kid with his sperm, and we don't want him to know about it, so let's entomb him. And you're like,
yeah.
Well,
you guys missed... What?
But I think that's the thing. He's super powerful, super charismatic, and if he wants to, he can eventually try to do what Homelander's doing now. So we got his sperm. We're making a better version of him. We don't need him. And I thought they were going to do that with Homelander. If they were to have access to his son, they would do the same exact thing. We don't need you. We have a new one.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was kind of hard for me to buy because Vought seemed to have such a finger on the pulse of everybody that's the one thing they did was controlled people. And I didn't feel like, based off of his performance, Soldier Boy
was out of control. So out of control, we got to get rid of him.
You never actually saw that. You saw him violent, but you saw him violent towards his team and violent towards the enemy.
Maybe I got it wrong. Did Edgar co-sign on him, or was just his team did it amongst themselves?
No, Edgar co-signed on him.
Everybody signed on it. Yeah, the whole package. But it seemed like it was actually spearheaded by Vought. Because they wanted to have the kid. But
they can do that.
But the irony of that is Soldier Boy said he wanted to have a family. He wanted to be a father. So then
they wouldn't want him anywhere near that kid.
I think it was Soldier Boy wasn't, he wasn't the team player that Vought wanted, because they said when he stormed Normandy, he didn't really storm Normandy. He was there a week after. Like, they were doing stuff with him that wasn't authentic, and maybe they felt like this guy wasn't pretty much good enough or polished enough to be their figurehead, so they just changed it up once they had.
But he became too popular, too well received by the public to just like fire him and he'll go away. It's like, no, he's not going away. You made a monster. But I guess to Jack's point, well, we should have saw more of the monster they made.
Yeah, or that needed to be in the actual story.
Yeah,
right. We're extrapolating.
I was pretty shocked. We are when Homelander said. I mean, when Soldier Boy said what he said to Homelander, like, it made sense. But I felt like this whole time, I felt like, I don't know if you'd be that cold that quick.
Yeah, you know why? He's from a different time. He's from the strong silent type.
No, I didn't
sniveling baby.
I get that, but I feel like we would have had steps before he would have came to that.
To me, that felt like shock factor. It was shock factor for the sake of it. It wasn't, to me, it didn't feel rooted in the character either. It felt like, all right, we still need to have the fight. And so instead of having the team up, which actually probably would happen based off the way these characters are being depicted, we're gonna stick to the fight because that's where we're at.
Because Homelander says to him, you have no beef with me. And I killed Noir. And he's like, and even if Soldier Boy called Homelander, you're a disgrace, you're here crying, Homelander would have bowed his head to Soldier Boy. Homelander just wants to be loved. He doesn't need to be the alpha.
But that's why it didn't make sense, because also we had this whole scene with Soldier Boy where he goes, all I ever wanted to be was a father. And then it wasn't just that Homelander said, hey, you're my father, you can be that father. I know I'm a little old, but guess what? I've also got a grandson, your grandfather. And so that grandson is Soldier Boy's chance to just be a father.
But also, there was also no reason for Soldier Boy to kill Homelander.
No.
Like, there was no motivation.
And it certainly wasn't. And it certainly wasn't some misplaced sense of I made an agreement with the boys. You know, that wasn't the driving factor.
And I'm surprised that he put up with Butcher's nonsense for as long as he did, because at the end of the day, like, who's Butcher to him? You know, like, yeah, you saved me, but I don't care. I'm Soldier Boy.
Unless his code was like so strict, then you're like, I shook your hand and a handshake means something. That wasn't in the content either, though.
I feel like that might have stayed, but once he found out Homelander's his kid, and I have no beef with this guy. I have no beef with him. And to the point where Soldier Boy got so out of control that they all had to fight him. And I'm like, I don't see what the motivation, like his motivation for taking down his team was so strong. And then all of a sudden he became this big bad at the end where it's like, why are you even in this fight to the death? Like, what do you stand to gain from killing these people?
Can we talk about the fight?
Threat. He wasn't a threat.
The thing with the fight at the end that kind of surprised me was, you know, everyone's scared of Homelander. Homelander is this overpowered, you know, Superman type figure. And these guys were standing toe to toe. Maeve is standing toe to toe with him.
Homelander was holding back against Maeve. She still is.
He was in the beginning. But I wouldn't say he was near the end of it.
She's still the only one that can like give him a child, another child. The only viable option on this earth. And Homelander, the way we see Homelander use his powers and obliterate people, I'm like, and he was sidetracked. He was still like, where's my son? Where's my son?
Well, you could see he definitely didn't want to fight her. He was pushing her away. He was trying to avoid the conflict with her in the beginning of the fight. But then near the end of the fight, he was ripping her eyes out. You know?
Right, but he didn't heat vision her. Like, he didn't do the thing.
He did. He did heat vision her. She blocked it with her, you know,
her bracelets.
Her bracelets.
He ain't heat vision her like he heat visions a village. He was still like, I'm doing enough to end this.
But you saw almost all the characters, to Chris's observation, all the characters stood some sort of chance against him after a minute.
All of them together.
Like, Homelander is not, as I think what Chris is getting at, is yes, Homelander might be a Superman knockoff, but he's nowhere near as powerful.
No.
Yeah, that's what we saw.
But Maeve is nowhere near as powerful as Wonder Woman. And A-Train's nowhere near as powerful as the Flash. So they're all like diluted, superpowered versions.
Right. And so the point we're actually making is all you fools out there that think Homelander even remotely stands a chance against the Man of Steel.
There's one dude that commented today on our pictures, like, all he has to do is get kryptonite. Like, Superman would, like, heat vision him from 30 miles away.
Punch a hole through his chest, man. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Like, it's nothing. Let's talk about A-Train, dude. Like, here's a character who you kind of feel like they did everything they could do with him.
Yeah.
And then they add on this thing where it's like, and I thought this is one of the best stories they had, because you saw a guy perpetrate trying to act like he's for the people, and then something really goes down and he wants to be for the people, and now it's too late.
Yep.
Now
I love the Kente cloth. I love the Kente cloth.
Like, just
redesign,
like a propaganda machine. I'm gonna make this Kente. You don't even care. You don't even know what it means. And then that guy Blue Hawk is out here being too aggressive, and his brother gets paralyzed because of it. He brings Blue Hawk in to talk to when he knows he shouldn't be bringing them into this community, talk to these people. and his brother
That's
gets paralyzed.
Was it called Joygasm? What was it? Herogasm. Herogasm, maybe the best episode out of a lot of it.
Well,
and what A-Train does to the guy at the end, my God.
I love when like creative people have speedsters because they show us like what they're capable of that we've never even thought about. I can just drag you.
I'll just drag you.
And your flesh will just
burn off your body. Talk about road rash.
Dude, but then A-Train gets... Well done, Jack.
Meat Crayon. Wow.
Do not go on subreddit and do not look up Meat Crayon. I'll tell you that right now.
We will not.
No.
We wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have crossed my mind.
Well, now you have to because
I
need to know. You need to know.
Honestly, don't. Not it's going to happen.
Man, and then A-Train gets a heart attack, wakes up with Dude's heart in his chest.
Brilliant. This is such good writing.
And then the PR, she's like, we're going to go out there and give a statement. And pretty much he says, okay.
Yep.
To selling out again.
Yeah, it shows what's nice about that is it's true character. A-Train was a dirtbag in the beginning, is a dirtbag in the end. It's true character.
But his growth is how aware he's becoming of knowing he's a dirtbag. He's a bit
we see
oblivious.
him. We literally see him say that to what's his
brother,
face?
right?
The kid.
His brother.
No, the kid.
Oh, Huey, yes.
Huey.
When he apologizes in the orgy, in the Herogasm. What a place to apologize for killing
But it comes out. But it only comes out because A-Train's in a emotionally compromised position, knowing that he's at the end of his run, so to speak, you know?
Oh.
But the second he's got a fresh set of legs, he goes back to who he is. He's a dirtbag.
But I think that's the conflict is he knows he's a dirtbag now. So it's going to be hard to play the game. It's going to be hard to act like this is fun and this is cool.
I hope that's the case, but I guess let's see where this goes in season 4.
And I love the way Homelander puts him down every chance he got.
Every chance.
Every chance he got, Homelander would just...
It's just abusive. Like, let him just enjoy the ice cream. We gotta talk about his weight gain.
Yep. I love it.
So terrible, man.
And
the deep.
Oh my God, the deep. So the deep's sex triangle with an octopus, where his wife actually kind of goes with it for a minute until she just can't. Hysterical.
I mean, the deep is one of those characters where it's really hard to sympathize with.
No, there's because you wanna be able to identify with these characters. So unless maybe you're into bestiality. And
it's not bestiality for him.
Well, because it's consensual, but it is bestiality. Frankly,
he's like part fish. This is not bestiality. This is
it's just
as normal. It's normal to him.
It's still freaking weird.
It's a little weird. And when Homelander made him eat one of them octopuses,
and the one he
terrifying.
liked.
That was
Eugene? Like he had like the name and everything. He's all sad
like
and stuff.
He's chewing them. He's like he's praying right now. Oh my! This content is crazy, man. Starlight freaking grew the heck up. She already was on the trajectory of becoming straight up like superhero for real, but she really kind of was dope in this season, turning down Vought and like putting them all doing the thing we're waiting for them to do. For seasons, finally she says, "Hey guys, this is what's going on behind the scenes," and now it's out there.
Starlight in this season felt to me like every time I'm watching a chase scene and I'm just yelling at the protagonist to shoot at the tires or something, she shot at the tires. I was like, finally, you're doing what makes sense.
Yeah, because you can't fight Homelander with brawn. So you have to. The only way you're safe is if you expose him. And you're too popular for him to murder you unless he wants to just lose everything. Right. So she was playing chess, which I thought was. And her and Huey. It's like, dude, like just it's okay. You've always been the weak one. Like,
and
like,
Huey's powers, brilliant. Huey's powers were so
good.
To
run away. His powers are to get away.
I know, but so he basically had Nightcrawler's power. He could teleport, but when he teleported, he couldn't take anything with him. So he was stark naked every time he got on the other end of a jump.
Dude, but you know what's so clever about that?
It worked for the hero-gasm, because everyone's butt naked in there.
But not just for that. The hero that he fought against, the hero that he was translucent, who was also a guy that had to be naked to use his powers.
Oh.
The bookend.
That's interesting.
Come on.
There was no sword fighting going on, though.
We don't know that. I didn't see all the hero-gasm. Did you see all the hero-gasms yet?
I guess that's interesting. Yeah, okay. But I also love that when he teleported other people, they lost their clothes.
It was really weird. It was really weird.
He was like, "Hey, man, we don't have to do this naked. I've got a clothes stashed here."
Okay. Camiko was another one who I'm glad she got her powers back, and I thought her reason for wanting them back to protect her friends was strong.
Yeah.
But her relationship with Frenchie, I thought it was clear until it wasn't clear.
It was clear until he was on drugs again.
Yeah.
It was clear until they kissed, and it was like...
Because wasn't that what Frenchie was going after the whole time, and he finally gets it, and then he...
Are y'all just feel like friends? I don't know.
I think he felt like maybe I'm not good enough for her. I'm damaged goods. He kept saying, we're damaged goods, we're broken, blah, blah, blah. And I think he puts her on such a high pedestal that even though he does love her, he feels like he's not what's best for her. And I think when she reciprocated those feelings, he's like, he freaked out. I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it.
I loved when she loved hugging him without powers, because with her powers, he feels
felt like noodly.
Like noodly.
He's so weak.
But that's Superman. Think everyone's
world
just
of cardboard.
Cardboard. It's like I can't even give you. Think about when you hug someone you love and just give them a big bear hug. Superman can never express that. He can never express that level of love to anyone or anything.
There's a moment in the Oates studio. You'll get it when you watch it. There's a giant who grabs a person. And that is what would happen if Superman gave someone a proper hug. You'd just be like, oh, there's nothing left of that dude.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you see Hulk versus
It'd
Superman,
be like,
and
listen,
before they fight, they're like, can we just...
hug for a second?
Just hug it out. Just hug it out. Hug it out real quick. It'd basically be like taking a giant sponge that's absorbed with water and squeezing out all the... Dude. Which is interesting. I mean, you can go on a whole Superman tangent. Now we have Head Popper, who's around here. He's like
stupid power, though.
She's amazing. She has
I know.
detrimental power.
I know, but imagine the level of disgust in this content. This character, literally, her superpower or villain power or power is, if I think about it, I'll literally explode your head.
There's some powers that make it so you can't be a superhero, and that's one of them. That's one of them.
Yeah, how do you fight crime? Well, I blow their heads up.
That's it.
Which was interesting the way Homelander stepped to her. Because maybe they're not sure whether it would work on him or not.
Why wouldn't it, though?
I know, but the way he
stepped
to her and the way she showed fear, it was like...
Nah, it was like, is she really going to take it that far? Honestly, it would make zero sense if she couldn't blow his head up. Even if she couldn't blow up the structure of his head, she should definitely be able to blow up what's inside his head.
Yeah, scramble his brains or something.
Well, especially if we saw Maeve, when she just stuck that shard into his ear. It didn't break on contact.
Exactly, that's my point. He was like, my ear matter. And you saw the Head Popper give Starlight a little taste of what she could do. So you know that her power works on a spectrum. She doesn't have to blow the whole head up. She can give you a nosebleed.
She give you a little bit of pressure.
Man, right. But I think we kind of danced all over the boys. I mean, guys, I love this show. And in whatever very little flaws I think it has, I don't even care. They can kind of give me more of the same, and I'm good because we're not getting this anywhere, man.
It's the
best. Except Invincible. But
And Invincible is infinitely better because the characters just are the characters. The boys, it's like
it's a satire.
It's a satire. It's so tongue in cheek.
It's a comment.
It's a comment. It's a political comment. It's a comment on heroes and villains, on comic
capitalism.
books. Capitalism. Yeah, exactly. It's such a adult themed show. I mean, you have a guy having sex with fish. You know, it's
have
the
a guy
thing
that shrinks down and climbs inside of a penis.
It's everything it's everything any intelligent person has ever considered about the ramifications of some of these powers in certain individuals' hands is all over the pages of these.
This is us in the 90s as teenagers saying, do you think Mr. Fantastic can make everything stretch? Like these guys, those guys went and made a TV show. And I love them for that. I love them for that. Guys, out of 10, I'm giving The Boys is an 8 for me, dude. And I'm being like, I'm holding back. Boys is a strong 8 for me.
Yeah, I co-sign that 8.
I would give it an 8, yeah. And I'm not holding back, though.
Look, you're being generous. There's a world where The Boys lives in a 9, but I won't do that. I'll keep it at an 8.
Yeah, it's great content. What Lawrence said is true. There's nothing else like it. If you're not watching The Boys and you're an adult who can handle adult content, The Boys is where it's at. It's not for your kids.
Which would say, what are you doing with yourself?
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Man.
What are you doing with your life?
It's so freaking good. And I hate that these type of shows don't get too recognized by the academies because Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, is doing just amazing acting work. Like in millimoments, he shifts between jealousy, rage, comedy, charisma. Like he's just in a
toes the
look.
line. Yeah,
dude. I'm like, give this guy a freaking Emmy nomination already. If that performance was in different content, he would have an Emmy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is content based. That's why Heath Ledger getting nominated for The Dark Knight was kind of unheard of at the time.
Right.
That's why Chadwick Boseman getting nominated for a cartoon that's a action hero themed comic book cartoon is like, does he deserve an Emmy? Yes. Are we giving it to him because are we nominating him because he's passed or because of the content was outrageously incredible? But if that's the case, shouldn't all content be up for grabs now?
I would hope so.
But it's not. But we know it's not.
It's not, and it's a shame because Anthony Starr is doing a masterclass. And one last thing, and I think you guys saw the interview where Jensen is like he plays Soldier Boy.
Yes,
worked his butt off to build muscle, and Anthony Starr is like, they'll put muscles in the suit. You gotta do all that.
He goes, why didn't you just ask him? Why didn't you just ask him to put muscles in the suit? And he said it deflated him.
We can tell, and you still have that opening Captain America shot where you come out the chamber. So I'm sure that everyone appreciates your hard work.
I tell you, the other thing I really liked was how heavy his shield was.
It looked like it, yeah. The thing about Soldier Boy was freaking dope. I'm so happy that they didn't kill him off. And he didn't do some crazy... Yeah, he didn't do the Captain America training montage.
I didn't understand why he was knocked out at all. He fell off a building, so what? He's stronger than any of the other characters. Falling off a building, whatever.
He always gets a little disoriented, I think, after he gets a big blast.
Exactly. Because it happened in the beginning when he first did the blast. So, yeah. And I think that blast was more powerful. Yeah, that blast was more powerful than any other blast he's done in the past.
He always blacks out. They call him when he blacks out.
How did Maeve survive the fall if she had no powers on impact?
Chris?
It takes... that's a very point. I was reading and it said because of reasons.
Reasons? Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk.